Hello and a very warm welcome to the Successful Garden Design Show, episode 31. Now, in last week's episode, we looked at the importance of growing fruit and vegetables now in your own garden to help your local communities and people that are struggling with lower incomes so that you can help top up people's food supply with fresh fruit and vegetables. In this episode, we're going to look at the practicalities of how you actually do that. First in your own garden, and then how you help organise those in your community to do the same. The other reason it's imperative to start as soon as you can, other than just the learning curve, is things always take so much longer than you could ever imagine to really get going. In a moment, I'll show you my celery examples that I planted about 12 weeks ago. And as you can see, these haven't done terribly well, so it's a really good job I'm not relying on these as a food source. In hindsight, it would have been quicker actually buying miniature celery plants than doing the method that I chose to do by using the cut-offs. But, I know that now. I didn't know that 3 months ago. So that's what I say. There's a learning curve to this. So what I propose for people to do is grow all the food they need in their back gardens, and in their front gardens, that's the community project. And some people will have too much on their plate, so they won't actually have the time, if they're busy working, to actually tend their front garden as a vegetable patch, but there might be some people in the community that can do it for them. So if it becomes a group project and you all share the produce, or you donate all of the produce to those in your community that need it the most, the front garden is a great way to do that, because it's very different having someone, harvesting a few leaves from a front garden. It's not invading your privacy like a back garden is. So you're going to have to work out in your community how you want to do this, whether you just divide up all of the produce or you donate all the produce, regardless of who's done what and who's provided their garden and who's done the work. So that system you've got to work out that works for your setup. Or maybe your community, people in your street actually need that food, but you're prepared to donate a small percentage to others. The first place you need to start is with your own garden and leading by example, because it's much easier for people to want to do something when they see it done successfully first. So the very first thing you need to do is to actually measure your garden out and get it on paper so that you can plan it properly. And this makes such a difference. So I've done a video training, about 10, 11 years ago, so you'll see a much younger version of me with a tape measure and showing you the correct way to measure a space, any garden, and also how to get it on paper in a very simple way. So once you've got it on paper, then you need to put in a very simple geometric shape for your lawn or gravel or whatever you're having. Circles are really good, but any geometric shape will work to keep it simple. So if you want ideas for that, go back to the previous episode where I did a little quick sketch of what you can do. And then depending on the area you're in, you probably want to create an area that's just ornamentals that kind of screens the vegetables so that it doesn't look messy, or you can do a mixture of vegetables interspersed with your normal planting so that you've got such a mix you're not noticing when you're harvesting some of the crops. And then something that's really also important to consider is vertical space, because you can grow so many vegetables like runner beans and things in pots like potatoes and tomatoes, that the more you can go up, the more produce you can get into your garden. And you can grow things up fences, pergolas, obelisks, anything like that. And you can do it in an artistic, creative way that looks good. And the better that you can get your gardens to look, the more people are going to want to come on board. Because not only is their garden getting a makeover, but they're able to help people in the community and themselves as well. So once you've come up with a design layout that works for your type of garden, then it's important to look at what you grow. So you're going to need things that are high density foods like potatoes, sweet potatoes, parsnips, squash, things that really fill people up. That's really important to have a selection of those. You also want things that give a lot of bang for their buck, so they don't take up much space but they're high yield. So again, tomatoes is a great example of that, especially some of the smaller ones. They can do absolute abundance of fruit from them. And things like Again, potatoes are very good. Courgettes, if you've ever grown more than one courgette bush, the rate they seem to produce courgettes or zucchinis for those in America is incredible. So you definitely will be feeding the entire neighbourhood if you've got more than one courgette bush. And radishes, they're really quick. You can go from sowing to harvest in about 45 days. So look at growing fruits and vegetables that store well, like apples and pears, onions, shallots, garlic, carrots, beetroot, potatoes, all those kinds of things that will keep you going through the winter. And things like berries freeze really well, and my father always manages to keep us going with his frozen runner beans through most of the year. He puts them through his little runner bean shredder, blanches them ever so quickly in hot water, then quickly runs them under the cold tap, dries them off, puts them in the freezer, and yeah, we have virtually runner beans all year round. So look at all the methods that you can use to not only grow produce but keep it as long as possible. And then you've got great things for the winter like kale and cabbages and Brussels sprouts for those people that like them. So you're even able to grow things through the year. And if you look at cold frames and greenhouses, that really does extend your growing season. Nikki Jabor is based in Canada. She's got some great tips on how to be an all year round vegetable gardener. And if she can do that in Canada, you can do it anywhere. And I'm also going to put some links to Gardener's Mag. They've got a great article on the best produce you can grow in a small space garden. And even if you haven't got much of a garden or no garden, the windowsill, growing microgreens and sprouting little beans and things like that, and growing lettuce in containers. There's so much that you can do just to top up that little bit of fresh fruit and vegetables. So look in your local area for groups that are already established that have got the experience and are already either donating fresh fruit and vegetables, or they've got a cooperative set up, and see what's already happening in your area. No point in reinventing the wheel if someone's already got something set up. You can just join in and help them. And there's even groups of guerrilla gardeners that go around putting vegetables on areas of industrial wasteland, to view every piece of available space as a potential place where you can grow vegetables. The seagulls are in agreement. And if you don't have enough land options available, you could consider crowdfunding some farmland and persuading a farmer to either rent you very cheaply an area that's difficult for him to farm. Sometimes farmers have really awkward little spots that they just can't get the machinery on, so might be only too happy, or maybe they've got a part of a field you could rent. Now with farmland you are going to have to really improve the soil a lot with organic matter, because the bacteria that's in the soil is very vital, and if there's been lots of artificial fertilizers used, that destroys that ecosystem. So as I say, you need to get going now so that one, you can improve the soil if need be, and two, gain that vital experience of how to grow and store produce, because it looks quite simple, and it is, but there's still a learning curve involved. But most importantly, have fun with it and, make it a community-driven project so that get as many people involved as possible. And if it is just you to begin with, so be it, but it will catch on. And unfortunately, here in Spain, in the next town, there's already families that are struggling to feed themselves. And it's the expats here are having a whip round trying to get enough money to donate so that they can buy food. So in poorer places, and certainly this part of Spain the economic impact has struck very quickly, and people are already in very difficult situations. So, I really wish I'd thought of this sooner, and, I just tried to grow a few vegetables for myself. If I'd thought about it more, there's more land that I could have utilised and grown things for people. So I really hope you're inspired to start a front garden community food growing project, because I think they're going to be so important moving forward. And as I say, even if it's not for this crisis, we don't know what's around the next corner, and it really would be a good practice for us to be a little bit more self-sufficient than we are. This current crisis has really shown us how unbalanced our culture is by relying on food coming thousands and thousands of miles. It's really urgent to start now and plan ahead and get moving and get as many people as you can on board to help grow food for the people that need it. So I've set up a Grow Together Food Gardens channel on Telegram, because I know so many people are off of Facebook these days, so you don't need an account, although if you do get an account it's much easier on the either desktop or the phone app, so you can join us there. We'll be posting ideas. We have thousands of visitors to the Successful Garden Design blog, so we can use that platform to help educate others. So I'm more than happy to pass it over to people that are more of an expert than I am, so do send me your links and write articles and I'll put them up, anything that you've got, or if you've got case studies where you've actually made a really gorgeous vegetable garden, because inspiration is so important for people. So good luck with your garden and keep an eye on the Successful Garden Design blog. I will post as many ideas there and also on the Telegram channel. And if you want to learn more about actual design process, attend one of my free garden design web classes at successfulgardendesigner.com/free-classes. Again, I'll put the link beneath this video. So get planning, get growing and get inspiring the people in your neighbourhood, and I'll see you in another garden design show soon. Take care.